The Turks and Caicos photos are still on my phone. Pristine beaches, sunset dinners, my husband Keith smiling over cocktails. Everyone who sees them says the same thing. We look so happy, so in love, the perfect couple on the perfect anniversary trip. They don't know that half the time Keith thought I was at the spa, I was in another room with another man. Looking back now from my efficiency apartment in Pittsburgh, 800 miles from the life I destroyed, I can see how inevitable the disaster was. You can't build lies on top of lies and expect the foundation to hold. But in those 5 days on the island, I thought I was invincible. I thought I could have everything. I should start with how it all began, not the affair. That's simple enough. Boredom, opportunity, the thrill of being wanted by someone new. No, I should start with the vacation itself. How I turned what should have been a celebration of 10 years of marriage into the stage for my betrayal. Keith had been planning it for months. Our 10th anniversary, he said, deserved something special. He researched resorts, compared prices, saved up overtime pay from his job managing the warehouse for a logistics company in Cincinnati. Such a Keith thing to do. Methodical, practical, putting aside money bit by bit for something he knew would make me happy. Beaches Resort, he announced one evening in March, laptop open to photos of turquoise water and palm trees. All inclusive, 5 nights. I already put the deposit down. That must have cost a fortune, I said, thinking about the credit card bills I'd been hiding, the charges from boutique hotels and restaurants with names I could barely pronounce. $2,500 all in. But you're worth it, Veronica. 10 years deserves a real celebration. I kissed him, told him it was perfect, already calculating in my head. 5 nights away from Cincinnati, away from the routine and the sneaking around. But also 5 nights of pretending to be the devoted wife when all I wanted was to be with Andrew. Andrew Fitzgerald. Even now, writing his name makes something twist in my chest. He was everything Keith wasn't. Spontaneous where Keith was steady, dangerous where Keith was safe. A pharmaceutical sales rep who came into the medical practice where I worked as an office manager, bringing lunch and charm and a smile that made me forget I wore a wedding ring. The affair had been going on for 4 months by the time Keith booked Turks and Caicos. 4 months of lunch meetings that ran long, conferences that required overnight stays, evening yoga classes that were really spent in Andrew's downtown loft. I was getting good at lying, but the constant deception was exhausting. Every story had to be tracked, every detail remembered. I can't go 5 days without seeing you, Andrew said when I told him about the trip. We were in his bed on a Thursday afternoon, me supposedly at a dental appointment. It's only 5 days, I said, but I was thinking the same thing. 5 days of playing perfect wife when all I wanted was this. The excitement of stolen hours and forbidden touch. Come with me, he said suddenly. What? I'll book a room at the same resort. Tell your husband I'm there for a medical conference or something. We could see each other. That's insane! Keith would figure it out. Would he? You said he's trusting. Doesn't suspect anything. Trusting. Such a simple word for such a devastating quality. Keith trusted me completely, which is why the lies worked so well. He never checked my phone, never questioned my stories, never wondered why I'd started wearing lingerie on a Tuesday or getting expensive highlights. I don't know, I said, but the idea was already taking root. The thrill of it, the danger. Andrew and me at the same resort, sneaking moments, while Keith remained oblivious. Think about it, Andrew pressed. I could get a room on the other side of the property. We'd be careful. Just knowing you're nearby would be enough. But we both knew it wouldn't be enough. Nothing with Andrew was ever enough. I said yes 3 days later. Told myself it was madness, even as I helped him book the room, even as we planned our deception. He'd check in the day before us, establish himself as just another guest. We'd acknowledge each other politely if we crossed paths, nothing more. Keith would never know. The resort was enormous, which worked in our favor. Multiple restaurants, pools, beach sections. Easy to be in different places, easy to disappear. Our room, Keith's and mine, was in the Caribbean building. Andrew was in the Italian village, a 10-minute walk away. "This is incredible," Keith said as we checked in, taking in the marble lobby, the smiling staff, the glimpse of ocean through massive windows. "Look at this place, V. We've come a long way from that motel in Toledo." Our honeymoon. A road trip we couldn't really afford, staying in cheap motels, eating at diners. We'd been so young, so sure that love was enough. Sometimes I wondered when that had changed for me, when Keith's steady devotion had become something that felt like confinement rather than comfort. "It's perfect," I agreed, scanning the lobby. No sign of Andrew, though I knew he was there somewhere. My phone buzzed. A text from him. "Room 4412, missing you already." "Who's that?" Keith asked, more curious than suspicious. "Just Mom, checking that we arrived safely." Another lie, so easy now they barely registered. That first night, we had dinner on the beach. Private table, toes in the sand, the whole romantic package. Keith had arranged it all, even had them bring out a cake for our anniversary. Other couples smiled at us approvingly, the happy pair celebrating a milestone. "I love you," Keith said, reaching for my hand across the table. "I know I don't say it enough, but I do. These 10 years. They've been everything." "I love you too," I replied, the words a script I'd known for a decade, even as my phone vibrated with another message from Andrew. "Saw you at dinner. You look beautiful. Can't wait to hold you." "Let's take a selfie," Keith suggested. "Document this perfect moment." We leaned in together, smiling for the camera, the sunset painting everything golden. Looking at that photo now, I can see it. The distance in my eyes, the way my smile doesn't quite reach them. But Keith couldn't see it then. Didn't want to, maybe. The next morning, I put my plan into action. "I booked a spa package," I announced over breakfast. "Full day of treatments. You don't mind, do you?" "Of course not. You deserve to be pampered." He pulled out his wallet. "Here, take some extra cash in case you need to tip or anything." $200 in 20s. Keith, who checked grocery receipts and compared gas prices, handing me money for a spa day I'd never attend. The trust in that gesture should have broken me. Instead, it just made me bolder. I did go to the spa, long enough to check in, change into a robe, be seen by staff. Then I slipped out the back, dressed in clothes I'd hidden in my beach bag, and made my way to the Italian village. Andrew was waiting, pacing his room like a caged animal. "Finally," he breathed, pulling me inside. "I've been going crazy knowing you were so close." What followed was 4 hours of pretending the outside world didn't exist, of ordering room service we barely touched, of making promises we wouldn't keep, of constructing a fantasy where this could somehow work long-term. "Leave him," Andrew said, not for the first time. "We could be together properly. No more sneaking around." "It's not that simple. 10 years of marriage, the house, our families." "Excuses," he cut me off. "You're scared." I was scared, not of leaving Keith, but of losing both, the security of my marriage and the excitement of the affair, the classic delusion, wanting the foundation and the fire, the safety net, and the free fall. "After the trip," I promised. "Let me get through this anniversary and then we'll talk about the future." I became an expert at time management that week. Morning coffee with Keith, late morning spa treatments with Andrew. Lunch with Keith, afternoon naps that were anything but restful. Dinner with Keith, then evening walks where I'd claimed to need alone time to process this beautiful experience. "You're glowing," Keith observed on day 3. "The spa treatments must be working." "Must be," I agreed, fresh from Andrew's bed, still feeling his hands on my skin. The lies multiplied like cancer cells. When Keith wanted to try paddleboarding, I said I'd pulled a muscle in yoga. When he suggested couples massage, I claimed the spa was fully booked. When he noticed a bruise on my shoulder, Andrew's passion leaving marks, I blamed it on deep tissue work. "They're really going hard at that spa," he joked. "Maybe I should complain." No, too quick, too sharp. I softened my voice. I mean, it's supposed to be therapeutic, no pain, no gain, right? He accepted it, like he accepted everything. Keith's superpower was believing the best of people, especially me. His kryptonite was that the same quality made him blind to betrayal. Day 4 was when things started unraveling, though I didn't see it then. Andrew was getting careless, drunk on vacation cocktails and the thrill of our deception. He started positioning himself where we'd accidentally run into each other. The pool bar when Keith went for drinks, the breakfast buffet when we were getting coffee, always with a polite nod, a beautiful morning, the kind of interaction that meant nothing unless you were looking for patterns. That guy seems to be everywhere, Keith mentioned after the third encounter. Must be on the same schedule as us. Lots of people here, I said, bound to see the same faces, but I could feel Andrew pushing boundaries, testing limits. The danger that had excited me was starting to feel actually dangerous. That evening, Keith surprised me with a sunset catamaran cruise he'd booked. Just the two of us, and another couple, champagne and Caribbean views. I couldn't say no without raising suspicion, but I knew Andrew would be waiting, expecting our evening rendezvous. I need to stop by the room first, I said. Grab a sweater. I texted Andrew frantically. Can't tonight. Kay planned surprise. Tomorrow, I promise. His response was immediate. This is bullshit, V. I'm here for you. Only you. I know, I'm sorry. Just one more night. I'm going to the bar. Maybe I'll find someone who actually wants to spend time with me. The threat was clear. Play by his rules or risk him doing something stupid. But I couldn't miss the cruise without devastating Keith, who was already waiting at the dock, proud of his romantic gesture. The cruise was beautiful. Perfect, even. Keith held me as we watched the sun sink into the ocean, told stories about our early days, made plans for the next 10 years. I smiled and nodded and tried not to think about Andrew at the bar, drinking and angry and capable of anything. When we returned, I claimed exhaustion. Too much sun. I think I'll turn in early. I'll come with you, Keith offered. No, enjoy the night. Maybe check out that steel drum band at the beach bar. I know you wanted to see them. Always so accommodating, he kissed me goodnight and headed for the music. I waited 5 minutes, then practically ran to the Italian village. Andrew was exactly where he'd said he'd be. The pool bar, 3 drinks deep, and flirting aggressively with a woman in a red bikini, making sure I could see, making his point. Having fun? I asked, trying to keep my voice light. Just passing time, he said, but didn't move away from the woman. Since my girlfriend is too busy with her husband. The woman's eyes widened at the word husband. She grabbed her drink and left without a word. That was unnecessary, I hissed. So is this whole charade? I'm tired of being your dirty secret, Veronica. Tired of scheduling my life around your marriage. You knew what this was. I thought I did. But being here, watching you with him, it's killing me. He stood, swayed slightly. You need to choose. Him or me. No more games. Andrew, please. Tomorrow's our last full day. We can talk when we get back to Cincinnati. No, now, tonight. Either you tell him about us or I will. The blood drained from my face. You wouldn't. Try me. I'll walk right up to your breakfast table tomorrow morning and introduce myself properly. Hi, Keith. I'm Andrew. I've been fucking your wife for 4 months. Please, I begged, please don't do this. You'll destroy everything. Everything's already destroyed, V. You're just standing in the wreckage, pretending it's still a house. He walked away, leaving me at the bar trying not to hyperventilate. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. I was supposed to be in control, managing both relationships, choosing my own timeline. Now Andrew had lit a fuse, and I had hours, maybe less, to figure out how to defuse it. I found Keith at the beach bar, swaying to the steel drums, a beer in his hand and contentment on his face. So happy with so little. A good resort, a tropical drink, the belief that his wife loved him. The simplicity of it broke something in me. Hey, I said, sliding up beside him. Couldn't sleep after all. I'm glad. He wrapped an arm around me, pulled me close. Dance with me? We swayed together on the sand, other couples around us, the band playing something slow and sweet. Keith hummed along, off-key but earnest. This man who'd loved me for a decade, who'd saved for months to give me this trip, who trusted me with everything he was. Keith, I started, not sure what I was going to say. Confess, lie more? Beg forgiveness for sins he didn't know I'd committed? Shh, he said, kissing the top of my head. Just dance with me. We can talk later. But later was running out. I barely slept that night, lying beside Keith while my phone lit up with increasingly aggressive texts from Andrew. Threats and ultimatums and drunken declarations of love that read like hostage negotiations. By morning, I was exhausted and desperate. I think I'll skip breakfast, I told Keith. My stomach's a bit off. Maybe the seafood last night. Want me to stay with you? No, go ahead. I'll meet you at the pool later. As soon as he left, I practically ran to Andrew's room. He answered the door looking haggard, still in yesterday's clothes. You came, he said. Did you think I wouldn't? After your threats? They weren't threats. They were promises. He pulled me inside. I meant what I said. This ends today. Either you're with me or you're not, but I'm done being your secret. Andrew, be reasonable. Reasonable? He laughed, harsh and bitter. I flew to Turks and Caicos to be near another man's wife. I've been reasonable for 4 months. I'm done. What do you want me to do? Walk up to Keith at breakfast and destroy him? Ruin our last day here? Yes, exactly that. Rip off the Band-Aid. He deserves to know. Since when do you care what Keith deserves? Since I realized I'm just as much a victim of your games as he is. Andrew sat on the bed, suddenly looking tired. You're never going to leave him, are you? This was all just entertainment for you. That's not true, isn't it? 4 months, Veronica. 4 months of after this trip, or after the holidays, or after whatever excuse you can think of. I'm an idiot for believing you. I sat beside him, tried to take his hand. He pulled away. I love you, I said, and in that moment I might have meant it. Or maybe I just loved what he represented. Passion, danger, the version of myself I was when I was with him. No, he said quietly. You love having me. There's a difference. My phone rang. Keith's ringtone. I ignored it. Answer it, Andrew said. Let's see you lie to him one more time. The phone rang again, then a text. Where are you? Getting worried. I have to go, I said. Of course you do. Andrew stood, walked to the minibar, poured himself a vodka despite the early hour. Run back to your husband. Play the good wife. But know this, I'm checking out today, going home, and when I get there, I'm calling him, telling him everything. Andrew --. I'm done, Veronica. You want to save your marriage? You've got until we land in Cincinnati. After that, he hears it from me. I left his room knowing my world was ending. Not dramatically, not yet, but inevitably. Andrew didn't make idle threats. He was hurt and drunk and had nothing left to lose. He would call Keith. The only question was whether I'd beat him to it. I found Keith at the pool, chatting with the couple from the catamaran cruise. He lit up when he saw me, and I felt like Judas at the Last Supper. Feeling better? He asked. A little. Must have been something I ate. Maybe skip the spa today, he suggested. We could just relax together. Our last full day. I want to spend it with you. The irony was suffocating. Now that I couldn't escape to Andrew, Keith wanted togetherness. We spent the day like newlyweds, swimming, laughing, taking pictures neither of us would ever want to look at again. All the while my phone buzzed with updates from Andrew. Packing, checking out, in the taxi, at the airport, each message a countdown to destruction. You seem tense, Keith observed over lunch. Everything okay? Just sad it's almost over, I lied. Back to reality tomorrow." "Reality's not so bad," he said. "We've got a good life, V. Good jobs, good home, each other. What more could we want?" What more indeed? That last night, Keith pulled out all the stops. Private dinner on the beach again, this time with a violinist. Rose petals on the bed when we returned. The romance of it all was suffocating, knowing that in hours, maybe less, it would all be ash. "I have something for you," he said, pulling out a small box. Diamond earrings, not huge, but quality. The kind of gift that required payment plans and sacrifice. "Keith, these are beautiful. You shouldn't have—" 10 years, he said simply. "You deserve beautiful things." I put them on with shaking hands, watched them catch the light. Blood diamonds, I thought, bought with the blood of our marriage that I'd already drained dry. We made love that night. The last time, though he didn't know it. I tried to memorize everything. His hands, his weight, the way he whispered my name like a prayer. Tried to save it all for the cold nights ahead when I'd have nothing but regret for company. The flight home was torture. Keith dozed against my shoulder while I watched my phone, waiting for Andrew's call to come through. But it didn't come. Not during the flight, not during the drive home, not that entire first day back. "Post-vacation blues?" Keith asked that evening, seeing me stare at my phone. "Something like that." 3 days passed. No word from Andrew. I checked his social media, no posts, no activity. Called his phone, straight to voicemail. Drove by his apartment, no lights. "Weird thing," Keith mentioned on day 4. I was going through the resort charges, making sure they were all correct. There was this guy, Andrew something, who tried to charge drinks to our room. Same last name as us, Fitzgerald. Front desk caught it. But strange coincidence, right? My blood froze. Yeah, strange. Must have been staying near us. Honest mistake. He went back to his laptop, oblivious to my panic. Andrew had tried to charge drinks to our room, using Keith's last name. It wasn't a mistake, it was a message. He'd been that close to exposing everything, had pulled back at the last second. Why? I got my answer a week later. Not from Andrew, but from his colleague who called the office looking for him. "Nobody's seen him since he got back from vacation," she explained. "His brother said he checked himself into some kind of treatment facility. Burnout or something. Just wanted to let you know in case you needed to find another rep. Treatment facility." I'd driven him to that. The pressure of the affair, the ultimatums, the drinking that had gotten worse over our 4 months. I'd broken him just as surely as I'd broken my marriage. The only difference was Keith didn't know he was broken yet. That was 3 months ago. Andrew never called Keith, never exposed our secret. His silence was either a final gift or a final cruelty. I'm still not sure which. But it left me in purgatory, waiting for a blow that never came. I ended it, of course. How could I not? Deleted his number, threw away the lingerie I'd bought for him, tried to rebuild my marriage on the ashes of my affair. Keith noticed the change. How attentive I became, how present. Thought the vacation had rekindled something. "We should travel more," he said one night, looking at the Turks photos on his phone. "That trip was good for us." Yeah, I agreed. It was. But guilt is corrosive. It eats you from the inside, hollows you out until you're just a shell going through the motions. Every time Keith looked at me with love, I saw Andrew in that hotel room, broken and bitter. Every time he trusted me, I remembered how thoroughly I'd betrayed that trust. Every normal moment was tainted by what he didn't know. I lasted 2 more months before I cracked. Not dramatically, no tearful confession or discovered evidence. Just a quiet conversation on a Sunday morning. "I think we should separate," I said over coffee. Keith's mug stopped halfway to his mouth. "What?" I'm not the wife you deserve, haven't been for a while." "Veronica, what are you talking about? Is this about work stress? Your mother? What's wrong?" "Everything. Everything was wrong and had been for longer than I could admit. "I need space," I said, the coward's answer. "To figure things out." "Figure what out? We're happy." "Aren't we happy?" The confusion in his voice was devastating. This man who'd done nothing wrong, who'd loved me consistently and truly, reduced to begging for explanations I couldn't give. I moved out the next week. Gave him no real reasons, no closure, just vague statements about growing apart and needing to find myself. Let him blame himself, wonder what he'd done wrong, rather than admit I was the cancer in our marriage. The divorce was quiet. Keith, ever reasonable, gave me what I asked for. Didn't fight, didn't investigate, just signed papers with the same trust he'd shown our entire marriage. I kept waiting for him to demand answers, to dig into why his wife of 10 years was suddenly gone. He never did. I heard through mutual friends that he's dating now, a teacher from his nephew's school, someone simple and kind, who deserves a man like him, a woman who won't need spa days that aren't spa days or schedule their life around another man's texts. Andrew never resurfaced. His social media stays dark, his apartment rented to someone else. I hope he got help. Hope he found peace. Hope he doesn't carry scars from our collision the way I do. Pittsburgh is my penance now. A job that pays less, an apartment that fits in the living room of the house Keith and I shared, a life stripped of all the things I thought I needed. I still have the diamond earrings from that last night in Turks and Caicos. Can't wear them, can't sell them, can't throw them away. They sit in their box like evidence of a crime only I know was committed. Sometimes I dream about that trip. The perfect beaches, the perfect dinners, the perfect lie I was living. In the dreams, I make different choices. Tell Andrew no, tell Keith the truth, choose honesty over having everything. But dreams are just another form of fiction, and I've told enough of those. The photos are still on my phone because I can't quite let go. Keith smiling over cocktails, unaware his wife had just come from another man's bed. Me in a sundress glowing with deception. The two of us on the beach, playing at being a happy couple while I counted down minutes until my next escape. Paradise for two, the resort had promised. They delivered exactly that. The only problem was I tried to make it paradise for three, and in the end, I was the only one cast out of Eden. Some women have affairs that end in passion or violence, in grand gestures and dramatic confrontations. Mine ended in silence, Andrew's, Keith's, and finally my own. The quiet after you've destroyed everything is the loudest sound there is. I hear it still, here in my efficiency apartment, surrounded by the nothing I chose over everything I had.